Ken Farrall, Chief Aetna Hose, Hook and Ladder. Joined the fire department in 1962. Been here for 63 years. It's a beautiful place to work. My entire career as chief was with volunteers. Today we're a combination fire department today. It's a career staff, and we couldn't do without them. Chief of the fire department was George Smith. We had one fire station, that's this station here, was Station 10 back in the day. All of our engines were gasoline driven, open cab, 750 gallon a minute pumpers. This engine was not here when I joined the fire department. Before I even became a chief officer, a fella had this thing in his barn up where Carpenter State Park is now. And he called the fire department. He wanted to get rid of it and wanted to know if we wanted it. They totally stripped this engine down to the frame and brought it back. And the members did everything but the final paint. Open cab, no windshield, no mirrors. I can't imagine what it was like riding one of these, although the Stutz, one of the oldest ones I rode to when I got in, was similar to that. Turnout gear was coat, boot, and helmet. We would have a helmet, the turnout coat, and the 3/4 boots. That would be it. Like you say, today, they've got the best of everything. And back the other bay, where the ladder is now, was 2 engines. They had spare gear back there, about 12 lockers that had extra gear in it. And you would come in, go find something to fit you, and hopefully you could find something before the engine left and go. Until you became active, you had to use that extra gear. Once you did become active, you got your own gear in your own locker. Did our training on Wednesday nights. Every Wednesday night was training night here. And then we sent our people to the Delaware State Fire School, which is held at the Caesar Rodney High School down in Camden, Delaware.
And that's you right there?
And that's me. That's President Jim Wood presenting giving me the keys. Back in the day, we had to do a fund drive. We would go out on Sundays, pass envelopes out. The following Sunday, we would go out and pick them up. The moneymaker for us back in the day. Apparatus didn't cost $1 million. We'd buy a new engine back in the day for $18,000. And we thought that was a lot of money, which it was. The very first fire I went to, rode the back step of engine 102 out of this station. Engine 102 is presently owned by one of our members, and looks like it came off the showroom floor. It was an oil burner fire on Madison Drive, rode the back step with extra gear. Back when you come in the fire department, if you got voted in the fire company on a meeting night and they had a fire the next day, you could come up and actually ride to a fire. That has changed considerably over the years. One of the memorable ones was the train car on fire at College Avenue Station, South College Avenue in the Pennsylvania Railroad. Literally, there was a fire. The train was actually on fire. There was wiring burning underneath of the car. We're pulling a hose line to put the fire out. The train engineer told us to get out of the way. He was leaving. I told him he couldn't leave. The train's on fire. He said, "Get out of the way, I'm leaving." He blew the whistle and they left. As a result of that fire, we contacted the State Fire Prevention Commission and wanted to know what kind of authority we had to put a fire out and be in charge of fire. At that time, there was no regulation. With that request to the commission, they got this Delaware State Fire School involved, and Director Amabelli, and they wrote letters to every state in the United States to see what kind of fire chief authority laws they had. Lo and behold, some had absolutely nothing. Some of the police would be in charge, and some it was a mixed match. We took the good parts out of that, added what we wanted, and as a result, we presently have the Delaware State Fire Chief's Authority Law. When we go in an emergency situation, whatever it is, when we're called out, we are in charge until we turn the incident over to the appropriate authorities. That was a monumental thing. It wasn't much of a challenge. It was just seeking information. And Lou Amabelli, the director of State Fire School, kind of headed it up. And there was a committee, I can't remember who all was on the committee. Like I said before, we weighed what we liked and we added what we thought should be there. And the fire chief in the state of Delaware, I don't think many of them realized what a powerful law that is, and it's an awesome responsibility on them also. So you're in charge. There's no question about it. Prior to that, we'd go out sometimes on accidents, and the state police would kind of run the show, and they didn't understand our operation. But as a result of that, we got to work better with the police agencies too, the city, the county, and the state. So it's pretty good law for the chiefs. The Bluffs Department fire was another fire that we had a problem with. The fire department got there. They were tied up. Our company and a neighboring company was rescuing a elderly lady over a ladder off the rear of the building with very limited access. As a result of that, we again contacted the state fire marshal's office and wanted to know what we could do to improve the fire lane situation. As a result of that, we have the present day fire lane regulation. It's pretty thorough. The Chrysler fire was another one that I'll never forget. I'd left my doctor's office. I heard the fire board talking to one of our engines and contacted the fire board. Do we have a fire? He said, yeah, they have a second alarm at Chrysler. And I wasn't too far away. When I come over the bridge at Chrysler, I said, fire board, make it a third alarm. Chrysler's a fully sprinkler building, and we shouldn't have what's going on. As a result, there was a $23 million loss there. The governor actually came up in a helicopter to see what was going on, and we were able to commandeer the helicopter and go up and go overhead and give a few directions to the firefighters on the ground. That was an interesting little bit there. The Opera House fire up the corner here was another fire. Our group was just clearing up from a deck collapse down in Southgate Apartments, and there were several injuries. They had taken to the hospital. They were on the way back from that when we got the Bluffs fire. We actually raised our 50-foot Bangor ladder 2 times on that fire. One time was enough, putting it up, and the younger guys here don't understand what that's about, because we don't do it anymore. They're trained in it, but we don't get to do it. One I'll never forget was an attempt to rescue a 12-year-old who was in an inner tube over off of Morrow's Road. There's a real small culvert under the road. Well, we had a torrential downpour that day, and the place was flooded. It was probably 100 yards wide and all funneling into this narrow culvert. Don just got air pack on. They put a rope on me, and we go under trying to rescue this child. And on the way through, we bumped into some logs and trees that were jammed up under there, and actually touched the guy. Couldn't get a hold of him, and we were being forced through there. It was like being in a wash machine, the way we were being tumbled around. And we got out, and I yelled to the officer in charge, don't let anybody else come through. There's a tree jammed up under there. And that time we saw the foot of the youngster, and we grabbed his foot, and they would pull him over the shore. And I'll never forget it, because when we pulled that guy out, he looked just like one of my children at home, same age. And that one stuck with me for a long time. We had a couple of water tower rescues over the year. One at the Chrysler Assembly Plant, and another one at the Windy Hills water tower. Back then we didn't have the high-and-low rescue team. We made do with what we had, with the training that we had. The couple of water rescues also in White Lake Creek. One was at the Paper Mill Road, right at the creek. We were able to extend the ladder out, drop a rope to the fellow who couldn't get out of the tumbling water there. We were able to rescue him. And several years after that, another rescue in White Lake Creek in back of Lumbrook, so off the Capitol Trail. Our gang did a good job with that too. The real memorable was the airplane crash on the Delancey Road. It's in Elkins District, a Sunday evening.
Rescue workers search hopelessly through the wreckage of a huge jet near Elkton, Maryland, but they find no signs of life. All aboard, 81 persons died in the fiery crash. The plane left Puerto Rico for Baltimore, where 71 fortunate passengers left the flight. After to taking off for Philadelphia, the jet ran into heavy weather and was awaiting landing clearance when disaster struck. The control tower heard the plane's captain call out, "We are going down in flames." Eyewitnesses described the stricken craft as a huge ball of fire as it plunged earthward. Just what happened is still a mystery. Experts advanced one theory that lightning might have opened a seam in a jet fuel tank. Others say that rough weather may have been the major factor. It's the second worst crash in the nation's history involving a single plane.
We got a call for a plane down on South College Avenue. We get down South College Avenue, we couldn't find it. Fire board come down, calls, says going to Old Baltimore Pike. We're going down Old Baltimore Pike in a rescue truck, and a car's coming up flashing its headlights on us. We stopped. They stopped, and they told us it was off of Delancey Road. As we're going down Old Baltimore Pike, Elkton's engine was coming up. Elkton's engine made a right turn on Delancey Road. Our rescue truck made a left turn right in back of them. We arrived the same time they did, and the plane, the engine had ended up 18 feet into the ground on Delancey Road. They sent us out in the field looking for survivors, and we didn't have to go too far out in the field to see that there would be no survivors. There was body parts strewn, wherever you looked. We came back out. In the meantime, Elkton had called the Delaware Air National Guard foam unit to come extinguish the fire. The foam unit got here, and they had a mechanical problem. They couldn't make foam, so they ended up calling our Engine 82. Our gang came out and was able to extinguish that fire. That was pretty memorable. And another incident in Elkton, it seemed like a lot of our major incidents were in Elkton, was a train wreck on Route 40. One of our engines, I'm not sure which one it was, ended up pumping water for 24 hours down there on that train wreck. I was fortunate when I came in, almost every member here had a military background. So discipline in the day was rather easy. We did a lot of live burns back in the day, burning houses down, and some of the greatest training that you can ever get. Internationally, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go, this is what a house fire is like, and it worked out real good. We encourage our people to maintain the good image of Aetna Hose Hook and Ladder, keep up the good training, participate in as much of the burns as you could. And shortly after I became chief, our chief officer started writing procedures. Up until that time, most of our procedures were by word of mouth. And then finally we decided maybe we ought to put these in writing. This is the locker they gave me when they made me chief emeritus. And my original locker was on the opposite side by the door, the main door where you come in. That was our parking lot. And I was one of the more active drivers, so they gave me a locker up front, which worked out pretty good too. I was fortunate when I joined in 1962. I worked at the University of Delaware as a maintenance electrician. I got out in the United States Navy after 4 years. I was an electrician in the Navy, and that was going to be my career. And I got a job at the University of Delaware maintenance, and I was able to make the daytime fires. I worked there 2.5 years, then I got into the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, construction electrician, and worked there for 25 years. That was an asset to me. You're in all types of construction, so you're familiar with building construction, which is an asset to a fire chief. The other thing, I was fortunate, like I say, from the University of Delaware, they let me go to daytime fires. So I gained a lot of experience real quick in early years. And then as an electrician, I worked in the area, quite a few major jobs, and I was able to leave those jobs and respond. So I was fortunate. I got a lot of experience back in the day, and I don't believe that I saw 12 electrical fires in my 63 years in the fire service. Over the years, there's been many, many, many fire blamed on electricity. We had a fire here in a district blamed on electricity when there was no electricity in the building. In 1988, the city of Newark, I got hired as a city fire marshal, and I served there for 15 years. And another good thing about that job was my director at the city of Newark allowed me to go to daytime fire. So again, for 15 years, there wasn't many fires in our fire district that I wasn't part of. Prior to that, I was obviously directing them as a chief. As the fire marshal for 15 years, I was able to help our young officers and guide them and really helped a lot. Sharing these pictures of an award that I received at the Delaware State Volunteer Firefighters Conference in Rehoboth Beach a week ago. This picture is right to left is Gretchen Farrall. Alongside her is my youngest son, Mark Farrall, myself in the middle, my daughter, Bonnie Farrall, her husband, Mark Osage, and my son, Ken Farrall, who his wife was working that couldn't be here, and the fourth son in Seattle was unable to make it to the event. But it was quite an honor to receive that after all these years in the fire service. These are all chief officers from Aetna Hose, Hook and Ladder were there that day that were able to attend. All but one of them were chief officer here. They're all still here. This is a picture of the rest of the members of Aetna were there that day to share in the award. Big changes. Well, like I said, back when I came in, we had open cab, 750 gallon a minute gasoline driven engines, 2.5-inch supply lines. As I noted before, we only had 2 air packs. Today, we got 1,500 gallon a minute pumpers, totally enclosed, air conditioned, fully heated, 4-inch supply lines, you name it, we got it. The firefighters today are totally encapsulated in turnout gear. Some of that, I'm old school. It bothers me a little bit that we allow our firefighters to get that fire inside of a building. If you can't make a rescue in a half hour after you arrive, the chances are you're not going to get someone out of there in good condition. So I'm a little old school on that. I know the young officers, they're working with it and then they make it work for them. Changed today. Back when I joined, smoke detectors were unheard of. We had them in industrial installations for HVAC equipment, but residential smoke detectors and then automatic sprinklers. So today there's probably thousands of fires to go totally unreported because that detector goes off and lets that person know that your fries in the kitchen just went over or your what have you. And we're not getting called. When we do get calls, it's an early call. It's not when the room is fully involved. So by the time our guys get there, we got a good chance of knocking that thing where it's at. One of the things I definitely want to add in there is the ladies auxiliary. When I joined the fire department, we had a really active bunch of ladies, and we went out in the fire in the middle of the night and called the dispatch center, told them that we needed 1017, that they were there, and not only were they there, when we got back, they would have a full course breakfast for us, all kind of weather, and my opinion, they never seemed to get the credit that they were due back in the day, and I just wanted to last but not least thank them for that. And the other branch, not a branch, they're all brothers, they're not riding a fire, and they were doing fire police work, but our fire police still, they're the greatest. And we just lost one of our real chief emeritus, Jerry Daniels, just passed away. We're going to miss him. Most important, never forget how the fire service got to where it is today. Just remember all the losses and injuries before you, and some paid with their lives to get us to where we are today. Keep up your training. It's ongoing, just never stops. Continue to strive to improve the service. We all do that. Hopefully the young guys will do it. They're also nice. It's overwhelming when you come in, a young kid you've never seen, you don't know where he's from, or Chief, how you doing today? You know, that's awesome. It's unforgettable. The young guys today, they are so lucky to have the equipment that we have today. Back in the day, like I say, open cab, 75-foot aerial, it had major limitations. Today with a ladder, we can extend it 100 foot off the side and do something. We couldn't do that back in the day. They've just come an awful long improvements with the apparatus that we're using today. Totally enclosed, cabs to ride in. Everybody's belted in. We didn't belt. We hung on the back step. As many as you could get on the back step were allowed to ride, and we loved it. We got the job done. Was it safe? No, it wasn't safe. Hell, we didn't know. We were young. We were bigger beers. And here we are today with greatest fire department in the nation.